I'm walking away.
Huh?
Am I free to go?
Why are you giving me the finger?
Am I free to go?
No.
For
Come here.
what reason?
Why are you giving me the finger?
I'm free to go. Am I free to go?
What's your problem?
Am I free to go?
No.
What, do you have a problem?
No.
You have a problem?
No.
You don't have a problem, then I can leave.
Why are you giving me the finger when you're walking?
This guy asks all the right questions. Now, this video isn't to focus on whether or not he was in the right to give the middle finger to the police officer. In fact, it really just depends on where you live and what part of the country and what laws they have on the books. The courts have generally found that by giving the middle finger to police or anyone else for that matter is typically a part of protected free speech under the First Amendment. However, you have to understand that it's what they would call the totality of the circumstances, meaning, everything else that's involved, the circumstances surrounding it, as opposed to just language. Language in general has been found to qualify under the freedom of speech. You may be asking, well, I thought freedom of speech is all language. Well, no. Classic examples of that would be you're not allowed to yell fire in a crowded movie theater unless there's actually a fire, right? So those are examples of when you can't just use freedom of speech. But I don't want to focus too much on that. I want to focus on what this guy did correctly. He was approached by the law enforcement officer, and he said right away,
Finger.
I'm walking away.
Huh?
Am I free to go?
Why are you giving me the finger?
Am I free to go?
No.
For
Come here.
what reason?
Why are you giving me the finger?
I'm free to go. Am I free to go?
What's your problem?
Am I free to go?
No.
What, do you have a problem?
No.
You have a problem?
No.
You don't have a problem, then I can leave.
Why are you giving me the finger when you're walking? Huh? Come here.
I'm free to go.
No,
Walk
you're
the
not.
walk.
Get over here.
What?
Get over here.
Why?
Because.
Is that a lawful order?
Yeah.
For what reason?
Because you're giving me the finger.
That's legal.
No, it isn't.
Says who?
Says it all.
Pull up the law.
Huh?
Pull up the law.
What's your name?
What's the law?
What's your
What's
name?
the law?
What's your name? How
What's
old
the law?
are you?
Have a good one.
Keith.
Fucking pig.
Whatever.
Fuck you.
What?
he said, am I free to go? Now that's the key there. So by asking, are you free to go? He's simply asking that question. Am I being detained or am I allowed to go lawfully? Now, when the police officer says, no, you're not free to go, he stops, he turns around, and then he asks the next great question. Why? Why are you detaining me? Why are you talking to me? Now, it's clear that this police officer, he doesn't really know what to do in this situation. He obviously doesn't encounter citizens that know their rights, know how to interact with the police when they do this. He's obviously really upset that this guy, gave him the middle finger. And he wants to exert his authority on him to teach him a lesson. Then he continues to walk away and he says, why? Is it a lawful order? And then the policeman says, yes. So now it would indicate that he's being detained again. So what do you do when you are detained? Why are you detaining me? That's the very next question you need to always ask. Why am I being detained? What crime do you suspect me of committing? Or what crime have I committed that you've seen me commit? Tell me. Tell me now.
Come here.
I'm afraid of you?
Come here. Get over here. Get over here.
What?
Get over here.
I'm not doing anything illegal.
Yeah, you are. You just cursed me off.
That's not a crime.
Yes, it is.
Says who?
Says me.
Says who?
Turn around. Come on.
Bro, that is not a fucking crime.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Why are you cursing me?
It's not a crime.
What's your name?
It's not a crime.
What's your name?
Help! Help!
No help.
Help! Help!
Yo.
Help!
Then the guy starts to walk away. The police officer clearly is letting him walk away. And he calls him a bad word. Then this cop, what does he do? He gets upset again. I've never seen anybody yell help like that during a stop. Now, I don't think it's a terrible idea to do it. He's calling attention on this illegal detainment. The police officer has never been able to articulate what the stop was for. Why are you detaining me now? Why are you putting me in cuffs? It's an illegal detention. For all he knows, the cop could be wanting to do something illegal to him. So what does he do? Natural, what humans do is he calls for help. Now, in my opinion, whenever a police officer, whether there's laws in their jurisdiction or not, turns off their body cam video, there's only one reason that you do that. That's to hide evidence. Now, where I practice law, that is a crime. That's a felony, tampering with evidence. My question is how is this any different? How is it any different? It's not. It's not different. When you turn your camera off in the middle of an investigation on purpose, you are taking a step to conceal evidence. You're concealing evidence from the police, you're concealing evidence from the prosecutor, and you're concealing evidence ultimately from a jury to not be able to see what actually happened. And that's concealing evidence, and that's a crime, in my opinion, all day long. You should not be allowed to do that, period. Because what is the criminal justice system? It's the search for truth. Whether that truth is going to hurt your case or help your case, it all needs to be out there. Because as a police officer, your job is not to convict. That's not your job. Your job is to investigate and gather evidence. It's the prosecutor's job to apply that evidence to the law, and it's a jury's job to apply that evidence to the law and render a verdict. Not your job as a police officer to determine who's guilty and who's innocent.
You're being detained because you acted strange.
What? That's not legal.
It is legal. He's allowed to
Who is
detain you
this
until he performs his
So what am I
investigation.
doing though? What am I doing that made him detain me? What legal right?
Every time I rode by him twice, he shot me the finger. So I turned around and say, "What you?"
Is that a crime?
Problem?
Hold
Then
on
he
a
tells
second.
me
That's not a
This is
crime.
causing public disturbance.
And then he
That's
tells
not,
me to
no, that's not a
to
crime.
F off, big.
Yeah, fuck off, big. That's not a crime. That's not a crime. He's looking at you because he's like, what the fuck you want me to do? Because it's not a crime. I know my rights.
Who are you?
I don't have to say any of that.
You do if you're being detained.
What's that?
You do if you're being detained.
For what reason?
What
What
is
legal
your-
reason am I being detained for?
Where are you coming from and where are you?
What legal reason am I being detained for? I need to know that. Legally, I need to know that.
Why are you?
Shooting me the finger.
Why are you?
Is that illegal?
Why are
Cursing
you
at
flipping the bird? Yes, it is. It's causing a public disturbance and a public alarm if you are cursing
So
in
a
public.
single one.
So when you are cursing in public, you are causing a public disturbance. You're being a nuisance to the public.
In what way? When he was driving past? That's singular. Well, I'd like to see you guys prove it in court.
It's called causing a public disturbance.
I know the
by
law.
being a nuisance.
I know the law.
All right. So at that point, what he is doing is he's not saying you're being charged with anything. At that
I'm
point,
just
he is
figuring out
detaining
what's
you
wrong with you.
to make
What's
sure that
going
there
on?
is nothing
Make
wrong.
sure you're okay.
What
Make sure that you're okay.
What reason does he need to detain me?
He thought maybe he thought you were signaling him down. I'm not sure.
That I was doing what?
Were
I
you
was.
signaling to him?
No,
Listen, I was
no.
just-
You knew very well that I wasn't signaling to you, right? I wasn't signaling
Well,
to you.
you bring attention to yourself.
That's not singular.
You're acting strange. I'm making sure you're okay.
Dude, that's so funny. Like, you're not here for my safety.
First Amendment is for your freedom of speech. Okay.
Okay.
What does that have to do with?
Was I
using
making a call to
gestures?
action? Was I making a call to action? Was I? Was I like
When you were
threatening
acting,
you in any way?
what are you
Did I
talking
threaten
about?
you?
Do you understand?
You know what a
that
call to action is?
Do you understand that you're acting?
Is that a call to action? Am I calling for an action to be done against you?
Do
No.
you understand
You're
that
bringing
it is?
attention to
Listen,
yourself to get
listen,
invested.
listen.
That's not legal.
It's behavior that's out of the ordinary.
I
okay?
understand how it works.
So
but
therefore,
legally,
he
it
stopped
would not
to talk
hold.
to you. Clearly, if he stopped all the way back there, I'm assuming you guys were back there and you just
We
continued
went
to
back
walk.
a bit further
You
back.
just
And you
continued
ran
to
away
walk.
from me.
I wasn't running. I told you that I was free to go, and you all
I
of a
said
sudden.
stop, and you ran down here. That's
I
why
wasn't
ran up.
running. I was walking.
Once he
So
gives an
let's-
order
let's
for you
be
to
honest here.
stop, you're supposed to stop.
I did stop when he originally said it, but I was asking, is it
And then he
illegal?
told me
Is it
to
a
F off, and he took off.
Yeah, because I kept walking because you weren't pursuing at the first. You
All
only
right.
started pursuing because
So
I said
listen.
fuck you, pig. That's
Listen.
when you got a little upset.
Okay, so
you
listen.
got his panties in
So
the pants.
listen,
All right.
we're here at this point now. Okay, you've brought the attention to yourself. You
Yup.
caused the public alarm.
Yup.
So now,
Well,
what
I'd like
we
to
are
see
doing-
you legally
so
hold
now
that
what
in
we are
court,
doing,
because-
I'm not charging you with anything, so I
Well, I
don't legally
would-
need to hold anything in court.
Well,
Okay, what I'm doing is
I
I'm
can always
trying to
bring
figure
this
out
up.
why you're walking on the side of the road, okay, and why you are continuing to signal to a police officer.
I wasn't signaling.
Okay.
See, now you changed the
So-
story.
so-
now you're changing the story. Was I signaling or which one was it?
So what
'Cause now
were you
you're-
doing?
Well, I want to know from your perspective.
I
What was I
pulled up
doing?
onto the scene, so you tell me what you were doing.
To bring your attention to
I
yourself.
plead the fifth. You fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot, dude.
Okay.
How long have you been a cop, Tricks?
Longer than you.
Listen,
Longer than you. I'm not a cop, retard.
listen,
Longer than you've been alive.
You're fucking retarded,
Listen.
bro.
listen.
Yep.
What? Like, what? I don't understand what the point of this is.
I'm walking. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
It's the Fourth Amendment to be allowed to walk without seizures or anything like that.
You
Which
sure?
is- yes.
Are you sure that's the Fourth Amendment?
That's the Fourth
You
Amendment.
sure that's the Fourth Amendment? You
You
sure?
want to bet money on it?
You sure that's what the Fourth Amendment? It gives you the right to walk without seizure. What's going to be seizured while you're walking?
My body, my person, idiot.
I'm seizing you? Did anybody?
Yes,
Did I
yes,
check all
you
your
were,
pockets
you were
or
about
anything?
to.
Come on.
You were about to.
Listen.
He said I was going to be under arrest. He fucking
He
said it.
said you were
I
detained.
said stop.
You
No,
said you were
or you're
detained.
gonna be arrested.
So now what
Yeah,
happens?
so
now what happens?
he just admitted that
now
he was
what
going
happens
to
is when
arrest
he
me.
gives you a lawful order to stop, and you do
It
not
wasn't a
stop,
lawful order, though.
and you do not
It
stop.
legally was not a
and
lawful
you
order.
Do not
Now you can see backup arrives, and quite frankly, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do in this situation. It seems to me, this is just my opinion, but based on his body language, that he's in an uncomfortable situation. He probably thinks that his partner is in the wrong, but instead of letting this gentleman go, he makes matters worse. He starts to get into an argument with him. He tells him that the Fourth Amendment doesn't include seizures, which it absolutely does. It's a search and seizure. Seizure can also include your person. And it just gets into a back and forth with the guy. And I mean, that just further damages the police officer's credibility. So this entire interaction with the law enforcement, the citizen, he did a really good job knowing his rights. Now, he definitely instigated. I would never recommend that you instigate. My opinion is to not instigate, but also know your rights and exercise your rights, but just don't talk. When you watch the video, it seems like his end goal is to have civil lawsuits against the police department for unlawful detainment. So it makes sense to me why he's acting this way and doing this. Now, I think that he is in the right for everything that he's done. It doesn't mean that I agree with his actions, but following the law, he is in his right. But the main point that I want to stress is that he made it clear from the start that he wasn't going to talk to the police officer unless he had to. And if you're ever in a situation similar to this, you absolutely should ask, am I free to go or am I being detained? That's the key word. And if they say you're being detained, you ask them, why am I being detained? At that point, if they give you a lawful reason why you're being detained, no matter what it is, you absolutely should not give them any information other than the very, very basic information, which would be your name. That's it. Don't tell them where you're going. Don't tell them where you're coming from. Chances are, whether you're innocent or guilty, you're going to implicate yourself.